Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitz on TV here, AKG Lauren 33. I am back here today with a full review of My Hero Academia World Heroes Mission. I got to see the film a couple days ago, and I want to give you guys my full thoughts and reaction of what I thought. So I want you guys to sit back and relax. I know it's been a while since I've done a video on My Hero Academia, but I thought this would be a good way to get us back in the flow of some My Hero Academia content. I have a lot of videos planned when it comes to the manga and the anime, but for right now we're going to specifically focus on the third movie. So without wasting any more time, let's get into it. So like I said, I saw My Hero Academia World Heroes Mission on Friday, the official release date. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it came out Thursday night, because usually here in the US, of course, when a new movie is about to release, they usually do Thursday night previews for people who want to see it, you know, early before its official release date. But there were no Thursday night previews in my area for the movie, so I saw it Friday afternoon. And it was about an hour and 40 minutes, right? And I'll be honest, that hour and 40 minutes absolutely flew by. And the first thing I will say is, for a lot of people that complained about season 5 of My Hero Academia, right? And I do have the reactions coming out for all of season 5, so be on the lookout for that. But a lot of people complained about season 5 and how it was, you know, how My Hero had went down, right? People didn't like the pacing. People didn't really enjoy much of the arcs because there really wasn't much stakes. There wasn't much tension, right? There was a lot of people that didn't even like the quality. And definitely, there were some episodes in season 5 where the quality and the animation wasn't at its best. It wasn't at the usual My Hero Academia quality. Because let's be serious here, right? My Hero Academia, throughout its first 4 seasons, there's very, very, very few moments of bad animation, or at least bad animation that you can notice. In season 5, there are moments where you can notice that the animation is a little bit wonky, right? And the reason for that is because they were animating this movie while also animating season 5. So a lot of the people that usually are, you know, doing the anime, they were animating parts of the movie. And I will say this movie has amazing animation. Amazing animation, especially the final battle, especially that end fight with Deku and Flecturn, right? The animation is at god tier levels. You know, I'm talking about Deku versus Overhaul levels. You know, like, the animation in this film is great from start to finish, and definitely you can see why parts of season 5 had, you know, wonky animation. You know, I feel like they could have planned for that better though. But like I said, we're not talking about season 5. We're focusing on the movie. The animation here is very, very, very good. You know, so definitely, if you're a fan of animation, right, and you like to break down little scenes and stuff like that, you're gonna enjoy the animation of this film, especially the final battle. Next thing I want to talk. First off, you know, I personally believe that the My Hero movies are canon. If you guys look in the manga, 9, the villain from the second My Hero Academia movie, what was that called? Heroes Rising, right? 9's in the manga. He makes a small appearance, but he's in the manga. So I personally believe that the movies are canon, but they just don't really mention them in the manga, right? But if you're looking at this from a canon perspective, this clearly takes place right around the time where Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki are doing their internship with Endeavor, right? You can also say that if you want, you could say that this takes place at the end of the internship arc or after the My Villain Academia arc, in between where season 5 ends and where season 6 begin. But, you know, clearly it takes place around that time. So with the release date in Japan lined up perfectly really with the anime. You know, season 5's already been done now for a couple months here in the US, so it's a little bit different. But for a timeline perspective, this clearly takes place around the internship part of season 5, and they can easily, you know, put it in the canon, right? I already believe that the movies are canon, but for people that don't believe they're canon, it is what it is. But it fits in the My Hero Academia timeline perfectly. Plus also, there is in the anime itself, there is like an end. There's a post credit in one of the season 5 episodes where you actually see Fleck turn. So make that as you wish. But I believe this movie is canon, so I wanted to get that out of the way. The music, the OST is great. They do use a lot of the tracks from the actual anime, so you will hear a lot of your favorite tracks from the anime in this movie, along with some new tracks which are really, really fire. Of course, my favorite track at the end, You Say Run, right? That does make an appearance in this movie at the end. I know in Heroes Rising they did a little bit of a different take on that with the Deku and Bakugo teaming up against 9. But in this movie, at the end, they do use the normal You Say Run track, and it's absolutely fire. I absolutely love it, right? I love it. So the music, right? Expect a lot of your classics from My Hero Academia, but expect some new ones that will, go really well with the story of this film. Next up, the action. The action in this movie is fantastic, right? Like I said, I need to go back and see it again. I saw it in the English subtitles, right? I saw it in Japanese with English subtitles. I haven't seen the dub yet, but the action is fantastic, right? I don't know if I'm ready to say this has action that's better than Heroes Rising, because Heroes Rising has amazing action. That final battle with Deku and Bakugo versus 9, right, has some great stuff, but there is tons of great action. Really, the last 30 minutes of this film is mainly action. Because Deku, Bakugo, Todoroki, they get separated, and they have their own mini boss fights, really, against members of Humorize, the terrorist organization. And there's non-stop action, because during those last 30 minutes, it's mainly just transitioning from Bakugo to Todoroki to Deku, and then back to Todoroki, back to Bakugo. You guys get the point. Plus, it also, transitions to our other Class 1A heroes that are in different parts of the world fighting other members of Humorize. So the action is really, really intense. I do think I need to see it again before I can say that the action is better than Heroes Rising, but the action will not disappoint. I absolutely love the Bakugo's battle. Not just because I'm a big Bakugo fan. You guys know, Bakugo is my favorite character from the show, but I love how intense Bakugo's fight is. It's like non-stop, like you don't even get a chance to catch your breath. Plus, I will say, this movie is probably more violent than Heroes Rising. There are some very, very violent scenes, especially with Bakugo. For those who have seen the film, you guys know what I'm talking about. Bloody Bakugo, there's a reason why that was trending on Twitter. There's a lot of bloody Deku too, not as much Todoroki, but there's a lot of bloody Deku, and a lot of bloody Bakugo, right? And so just be warned that there is a bunch of graphic violence in this film, right? Especially for an anime film, but I love it. I love the violence. I love the blood. I loved all that. I loved all that, man. I feel like we need more of that in pop culture. Some people would be like, but the thing is, I loved it. I had no problem with it. It did a really good job with the story they were trying to tell of this film. And the main story that they're trying to tell here is Bakugo, Todoroki, and Deku, their growth as heroes up to this point in the series. Really. I thought the final battle would mainly be those three teaming up against Fleckturn, but instead they got separated, and then Deku, Bakugo, Todoroki each have like their own boss fight, and we get to see all three of their growth as heroes so far, right? From a so like I said, the action's really good. Next up, I would say character development, right? Remember, this is an anime movie. So in an anime movie, you especially when people are talking about the question of is this canon or not, you got to be careful, because you don't know if you don't know how much character development you're gonna get, right? And I will say this, Heroes Rising has the superior character development, but there is a little bit of character development, not mainly from the big three. Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki, since they're the main three characters of this film, you don't see much character development from them. You just see more of their development as heroes, right? You see them develop as heroes, but not really develop as characters, if that makes sense. The real character development from this film comes from Rhodey, right? And we know Rhodey was created for this film. Rhodey's the one with the superior character development. Rhodey was probably my favorite character from the film. His story, man, the story of his family and everything that happens and how it connects to the Human Rights Organization, I really, really enjoyed it. So if you're looking for that character development, you're gonna get that from Rhodey. You're not really gonna get that from anybody from the main cast, and that's usually a normal thing from these anime films. If you want that superior character development, you're gonna have to go to Heroes Rising. But the character development from this film is gonna come from Rhodey, and Rhodey is a beast in this film. Like I said, Rhodey, he brings everything from the emotion to the comedic relief. Right? He even has a little bit of action here and there. I love Rhodey. I love Rhodey in this film. Next thing I will say, Flecturn, the villain, right? I would say that the thing about these movies, these My Hero movies, the villains are not that memorable, right? 9 was not a memorable villain. I don't even really remember the villain from the first My Hero Academia movie, Two Heroes. Right? And Flecturn in this movie, he's not really that memorable. His story is, I guess, a little bit interesting, but for the most part, he's not that, interesting as a villain, right? You can kind of understand why he's doing what he does and why he's a villain and why he wants to, destroy all quirks. But the thing is, Deku comes in and Deku kind of breaks it down like, really? That's why you're a bad guy? And Deku's just like, you could have done X, Y, and Z, and like, you wouldn't have gone down this path. So, Flecturn to me is not that memorable. I like his quirk. His quirk's pretty cool. He has the reflection quirk where he can reflect anything and everything. His quirk's pretty cool. I like that better than 9 just having 9 different quirks and being super OP. I like Flecturn's quirk. But him as a character, him as a villain especially, it's just not that memorable. It's just not really something that I'm going to think about, going forward. Definitely the film's great. I'm not saying that at all. It didn't really hurt, my view of the film. But it's just not that memorable. That's probably the weakest part of these movies is the villains are just not that memorable. And they're not that special in my eyes. Okay? But lastly, and I'm gonna go into spoiler territory, right? I'm gonna try to do this kind of quick so we don't waste too much time. If you guys are here for a non-spoiler review, I would say the non-spoiler review ends here. I would definitely say this film is worth seeing in theaters. Right? I say this to you guys all the time. Some of these anime films like Dragon Ball Super Broly, the Demon Slayer movie, My Hero Academia Heroes Rising, My Hero Academia World Heroes Mission, you're going to want to see these films in theaters. Yes, sure, when they come out on digital and wherever you guys watch your anime films, sure, it's going to be great. But, experiencing them in the theaters with that high tier animation and the music and the soundtrack, booming through the speakers, it's an unreal experience. So definitely, I do think this movie is worth seeing in theaters, and I definitely think this makes up for a lot of the unhappiness people had with season 5. I liked season 5 for the most part, but I definitely see why some people didn't like season 5. But, the hour and 40 minutes that you get with this film, right, I think it makes up for a lot of the unhappiness. I feel like a lot of people, are going to feel a lot better about My Hero Academia after seeing this film. And I say this all the time. For those of you guys who don't read the manga, you guys have no idea what's coming for Season 6. And Season 6 is going to be absolutely insane for my anime-only people. But quickly, I'm going to get into some spoilers really quick before we get out of here. But I definitely, like I said, I definitely think this film is worth seeing in theaters for those of you guys who haven't seen it already. But anyway, for spoiler wise, I would say this. So basically, the plot of this film isn't too hard to understand. It's a terrorist organization. They want to get rid of all quirks, right? And basically, they plant these little quirk-destroying bombs in different parts of the world, which our heroes have to destroy. And then Deku, Bakugo, Todoroki, along with Rhodey, they have to try to get to the base to disarm all of these bombs, right? It's whatever. It's an interesting story. At first, Deku is the one that gets charged or is believed to be this mass murderer because of these police, which are working with the humanized organization, and they are the ones that frame Deku, right? They're the ones that frame Deku, so it takes attention off them and it places more attention on Deku. But then later in the movie, Fleck-Turn comes in and he reveals that basically no, it was all them the whole entire time, because basically framing Deku gave the humanized organization more time to put their plan in motion. It's not really a complicated plot, all right? But then, you know, through this, for the most of the first half of this movie, it's basically Deku and Rhodey on the run, and it's pretty interesting. There's like a couple music sequences that, you know, that's kind of, it was a little bit weird for My Hero Academia, but it was just like, it was more like, okay, this is new, and it didn't really bother me. But Deku and Rhodey going on an adventure in the middle of the film, that was funny, and I liked the interaction that Rhodey had with Deku. And then Rhodey's background or backstory is very, very sad. It's very, very emotional, and I related to Rhodey very, very quickly, right? Plus Rhodey's quirk, it's, you know, he has a bird that basically expresses his true intentions and his true emotions. So no matter if Rhodey tries to lie or anything, the bird will express how he truly feels, which is kind of cool. So basically, Rhodey's quirk is basically the ability to never lie, right? You know, he can't lie, all right? But getting more into the final battle here, right? I will say quickly that for those of you guys who expected those suits, right, the stealth suits, the ones that we saw so much in the marketing for this film, you only see them at the beginning for like 5 minutes, right? Which is sad, because the suits look so cool on Bakugo, Todoroki, and Deku. They look so fire in them. But it is what it is. You know, they only appear for like a couple minutes at the beginning of the film. But in the final battle, right, where Bakugo's fighting like these two twins that have like a quirk that cuts things up, right? So Bakugo gets really bloody because he gets cut up by these guys pretty bad. I don't know how he survived, really. I don't, because Bakugo was getting sliced to shreds, you know, and he was bleeding everywhere. Especially there's a part where his eye gets like bloody, and it's ridiculous. But Bakugo, man, when he does like that super Hollister impact, right? And then he puts like a thumb up, kind of like All Might, but in his own way. That was absolutely fire. You know, that was probably my favorite part of the film, right? I loved bloody Bakugo, and I loved the way he did the Hollister impact in his own way. Todoroki was fire as well. Todoroki doesn't get as bloody as the others. Todoroki's fighting like this big beast that can, I think his quirk was like controlling water flow or something like that. I don't remember his quirk, but Todoroki's fighting this big guy, right? And there's a point where Todoroki gets swallowed by the guy, and then Todoroki from the inside does like a flash fire fist similar to Endeavor, and he just punches his way out and defeats the villain. Absolute fire, right? Absolute fire. The way that Bakugo, Todoroki, and Deku win their fights is fire in this film. It's awesome, you know. Like I said, I love Bakugo's moment the most. And Deku, right? Deku, when he's fighting Fleck-Turn, it's Rhodey who, you know, gets himself cut up, you know, to give Deku an opening. That's emotional as hell. Even though the emotional moments of Heroes Rising more got to me, but when Rhodey, you know, almost sacrifices himself for Deku to finally find an opening, you know, that got me. And then when Deku goes 100% one for all, right? It did feel like a little plot armor-ish, right? It did feel plot armor-ish, but it was still fire. Where Deku goes full one punch mode, right? And then the music comes in and everything. I don't know if I would say it was better than when he did 100% against Overhaul, but it is absolutely fire with the music. Like, that is flames, fucking flames. I love it. I love it. And then I would say the final part after that that got me is when Rhodey goes to disarm the key, right? Deku defeats Flecturn with 100% one for all, and then Deku goes to see if Rhodey disarmed the key in time. You see Rhodey's bird disarm the key, and then Rhodey's like, was I cool like you, Deku? Did I get the job done? And then you see Deku and Rhodey crying and holding hands. That got to me. That was probably my second favorite part of the film behind Bakugo's Hollister Impact. That was fire. That was fire. So all in all, man, Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki getting these unique moments in this film. They each got their moment. And then Rhodey was like the icing on the cake. And I really liked how Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki each got their own moments to shine because they're the big three. And I think they did a really good job. Of course, Deku got the dub over the main villain at the end, right? Because it's Deku's story, it's Deku's show. But they did a really good job of making Bakugo, Todoroki, and Deku each feel special in their own unique ways as they continue to grow as heroes, right? And then, Endeavor and Hawks, they do have moments as well, and I feel like they had to do that just because Endeavor and Hawks technically are, the number one heroes right now. But remember, this is about Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki and the rest of Class 1A becoming the top heroes, right? This is their story. So I feel like they did a really good job making this about Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki, and not letting Endeavor and Hawks and the rest of the other pro heroes come in and take the shine away, and they did a great job of doing that in Heroes Rising as well. So with these movies, they've done a really good job of building up Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki and the rest of Class 1A. I will give them a lot of credit for that. All in all, Heroes Rising, World Heroes Mission is a great film in my opinion. It's a great film, and I'm not sure if I'm ready to say it's better than Heroes Rising. I need to definitely see it again, but it is definitely worth seeing it in theaters. I think it definitely made up for a lot of the problems with season 5, and definitely I think people should go and see it. But let me know in the comment section what you guys thought, for those who have seen the film, right? Don't spoil it in the comment section. Please don't do that for people who haven't seen it yet. But all in all, it is a really, really great film. I definitely enjoyed it, and definitely it is worth seeing in theaters for those who haven't seen it already. But other than that, guys, that's about all I got for you guys today. Make sure to like the video if you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed just relaxing, listening to me talk about some My Hero Academia. I definitely will have some more My Hero Academia videos coming out in the future, so make sure you guys like this video. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel by hitting the big red button next to my name, FitzMonkTV, and also clicking the bell next to my name, FitzMonkTV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Thank you guys for everything, man. I'll see you guys later. Stay safe and healthy, y'all. Peace.